Two, check one, two, check one, two. Are we in the building? Yeah, we got to get them in the building tonight, family. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I was trying to get everything together, so I hope y'all with me. I hope y'all with me, family. This is going to be an amazing night. If you are an educator, let me turn this up a little bit. If you are an educator, be prepared to be educated. I'm going to tell you right now, family, I don't do this. Listen, press 7 if y'all can hear me. Can you hear me? How do I sound? Hope they don't come and attack me. How do I sound? Check 1, 2. Can y'all hear me? Most people think I do this to attack people. Family, in reality, I have no desire to attack people. That's not what I'm doing. What I'm doing here is I want our people to understand that all that look good isn't good. Now, there's one thing. Let me get this right. There would be one thing if I was up here just talking. You understand what I'm saying? It would be one thing if I'm just up here talking. But it's a whole different ball game when I give you all the evidence in the form of a lecture. This is a different type of show right here. This is not one of the podcasts where, this is why Morse World TV is so raw when it comes to doing stuff like this, and nobody can duplicate this. No one can duplicate this. And the reason why no one can duplicate Morse World TV, for one, it takes too much work, it takes too much time, and then you really have to know how to see things for what they are and not what we were told that they were. You have to be able to see things for what they really are. And then you got to be bold enough to present it. That's the hard part for a lot of people. The hard part for a lot of people is being able to present something that contradicts everything that you believed and everything that those people once believed. Okay, so we're going to get started in a second. Let me share this Cash App thing, just in case anybody support this type of research. Again, it does take time to put together. It takes study. You have to know history. See, one thing about me being a Moorish American, right? I actually do study history, right? Me being a Moorish American, I do study history. But I think the current history that affects us today I think deserves more attention. I think all history deserves attention. But I think history within the last 200 years that is being used, that's still being used against us today, I think that type of history deserves a lot of attention. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get y'all up to speed on what's really going on. All right? So let me get this thing shared real quick and pinned up in here for all those who wish to support. If you feel as though that you don't want to hear your childhood heroes, your conscious heroes, put on Front Street. I ain't gonna say destroy. Put on Front Street. Then this ain't the channel you need to watch. We're gonna be about an hour in here, and then I'm gonna read some comments. All right. Thank you for your support. Again, this takes time, and I really appreciate it, family. And I'm gonna get straight to it, family. Who think that Claud Anderson is legitimate? Let me tell you why I say that he's not as legitimate as people think he is. And this is not new. I'm not doing this for a show. I've thought this for quite some time. I mean, I felt this for quite some time. The reason why I felt this for quite some time is because one of the problems that I have with our people is ones that talk and they don't produce what they talk, if you will. You feel what I'm saying? Like, it sounds good. You know what I'm saying? It sounds real good, but they don't produce what they talk. So to me, that's a red flag for me. That's a red flag for me. When one talks but does not produce what they talk, or even try to produce what they talk, that's a red flag for me. That's a red flag for me. So that is the opening of my research. When I begin to look into if a person is legit or not, the first thing I ask myself, are they telling people to go in a direction that they haven't gone themselves? That's the first thing I ask myself. And for years, I would listen to Claud Anderson, and sometimes, I'm telling you, I was blown away with how he positioned his words, with how he would come back with questions that seemed complicated for years. But then it dawned on me, if he know all of this, then why isn't he moving on what he speaks so confidently about? So with that being said, family, get your seat, take your seat, get you some chips, get you some dip. Family, we about to get busy. Yeah, we about to get busy. You feel what I'm saying? We about to get busy. Let's get it. We about to get busy, family. When you have a person that have books like Black Labor, White Wealth, Dirty Little Secrets, you feel me? PowerNomics. When you have people that sell these books and sell these lectures, and you don't see, M.H. Bass said collectively, you don't see them moving as a collective, that's where the research starts. You follow me? That's where the research started. It is what it is. That's exactly where the research started. You know what I mean? Let's get it. I'm going to give me some more. Family, hit that thumbs up. Check 1, 2. Hit that thumbs up. Share this demonstration.
With the help of my
Come on, share this demonstration.
Y'all some internet prophets and you need to stop before someone catch you on the block and cock it, or catch you at your lecture and rock your knocking. Yeah, you mad at me cause I'm exposing your robbing. See, I used to be a robber, I was robbing the thugs and the Asians in the hood selling nasty grub. I was only 17 and I didn't know better. Put them things in their face and said, give me the cheddar. But it really amazed me, the age of 40, that people will use the things that would annoy me to rhyme about people like Bibles and Quran.
What's up, Anthony
Take your
Bryan?
money and then they gone. You selling plagiarized books and dreams of unity. Blame the European, but look what you do to me. Got me thinking we gon' overcome, but when you cut your camera off, you're really one of them. You gon' have to watch it back for the rest of your life. I know good and well you can't sleep at night. You done robbed everybody from the hood to the burbs with your unks, your crystals, your books, your herbs. You convinced everybody that it's white supremacy. The fact of the matter is you're the real enemy. You've been lying to the people fat in your pockets. You ain't nothing but an internet prophet. You gon' have to watch it back for the rest of your life. I know good and well you can't sleep at night. You done robbed everybody from the hood to the birds with your unks, your crystals, your books and herbs. Now they calling me the op cause I revealed the scam. They will shake your hand and still grip your fam. Say Hotep, peace, black power, shalom. Assalamu alaikum, praise the Lord, Islam. At the same time they plotting to get in your pocket. They will white label sunglasses, cups and watches. Make a profit for the enemy they talk about.
What they doing,
I can't understand why you ain't been walking out. You ain't noticed since you met them. You sipping in life on Twitter like the pipe, and it just ain't right. Bank account got light and you haven't seen the light. You burn all the stage and ain't change your plight. Incense burning, crystals turning. Think to yourself, what you really learning, what you really saw. You gave him your all.
He on the museum
See
club.
him in the internet mall, selling deodorant. Hurry up and buy. He don't really care if you're broke and you die.
You just acting like you don't care either. This is pure evil. Won't have to watch your back for the rest of your life. I know good and well you can't sleep at night. You done robbed everybody from the hood to the burbs with your unks, your crystals, your books, your herbs. You convinced everybody that it's white supremacy. The fact of the matter is you're the real enemy. You've been lying to the people fat in your pocket. You ain't nothing but an internet prophet. You gonna have to watch your back for the rest of your life. I know good and well you can't sleep at night. You done robbed everybody from the hood to the birds with your unks, your crystals, your books and herbs. You gonna have to watch your back for the rest of your life. I know good and well you can't sleep at night. You done robbed everybody from the hood to the burbs with your unks, your crystals, your books, your herbs. You convinced everybody that it's white supremacy. The fact of the matter is you're the real enemy. You've been lying to the people fat in your pockets. You ain't nothing but an internet prophet.
Hey, family, make sure you hit that thumbs up on the way in. Let's get straight into it. This is an educational lesson tonight to show you how grifting is an ancient it's an ancient Negro pastime. Grifting is an ancient Negro pastime. So let me tell you something. When people say, I want you, hey family, can you listen to me real clear? Because sometimes you hear, you might don't listen. Sometimes you listen and you might don't hear. So I want you to listen first and then I want you to hear. Somebody say turn the mic up. I want you to listen first and then I want you to hear. Let me make sure I got my mic right. My mic sound funny tonight, but hey, let me make sure. Can you hear me now? Check 1, 2. Can you hear me now? Check 1, 2. Make sure you can hear me now. Check 1, 2. Check 1, 2. There it is. All right. Check 1, 2. Long as you can hear me, All right. So I want to make sure that you can hear me. You understand what I'm saying? I don't want anybody getting sensitive as if I'm attacking the elders. I'm telling you that this grifting thing is not a new thing. When Tariq Nasheed attached himself to Claud Anderson, and when people come in the background and say, well, Tariq did not create FBA. Claud Anderson created it. When in fact, we know he didn't create FBA. He created a term that was kind of consistent with what would become FBA, but it's the same old grift. All right? It's the same old grift. One thing for sure and two things for certain. If you have a brother that has been on C-SPAN and in 2025, they're still talking the same economic talk that they were talking on C-SPAN with no accomplishment, that should be a red flag. You have to be a little bit older to be one who have watched C-SPAN. You understand what I'm saying? C-SPAN is not for somebody who's 20 and 30. Maybe 30. But you have to be a little older. People like Claud Anderson, people like Malik Zulu Shabazz, they have been on C-SPAN. Now, if you don't know, you will tonight. If you don't know, you will tonight. Make sure I ain't jamming up around here. Look like I'm looking on my phone, make sure I ain't jamming up. All right. Now, let's get it started. When you see somebody like Tariq Nasheed on Rock Newman, and I've already told you who the guy is, and you see Claud Anderson on Rock Newman, you need to understand the same thing that we have on the internet. When you have people like No Jumper, you have people like Vlad and other podcasters. These are networks.
And these are networks that could possibly be funded by someone who needs information before a certain demographic. Whether it's misinformation, disinformation, they need networks for this to happen. So when you look at things like Vicky Dillard, you look at things like the Breakfast Club. What's going on with the Breakfast Club right now? The Breakfast Club right now is, well, many people say that Breakfast Club take that payola, take money to get people on the show, and they push agendas. You know what I mean? When you look at the Breakfast Club, they are agenda-oriented. What up, Dr. Assad? You're going to love this one tonight, brother. You're going to love this one tonight. If you can stay up with me, you're going to love this one tonight. I know you be teaching, but you're going to love this one tonight. All of these platforms are sounding boards for agendas. And this is why you see Umar Johnson, Tariq Nasheed, Claud Anderson. That doesn't mean that real ones don't get sprinkled in there. That doesn't mean that. But when I'm telling you that these platforms are sounding boards for agendas. Now, when we get to Claud Anderson, one thing to really understand Claud Anderson and PowerNomics, the first thing you must understand is that we as a group of people are desperate for Jesus. We have been mentally trained. We have been mentally trained to wait for this fictional Jesus to come and save us. And so those who created this fictional Jesus that's supposed to come and save us and we supposed to go to heaven, what they do is they use that same process to make a fictional salvation in economics, PowerNomics. They come up with, we need a museum. They come up with, oh, we all need to get along. All of us is not going to get along. They come up with all of these distractions that it's the hope for redemption, and the redemption is the fictional Jesus. So they don't use Jesus no more. They just use ideals. They use ideals in the same way that they use Jesus. They use ideals, right? And Claud Anderson ideal is what? Economics. Somebody else ideal may be that we're all going to come together and we're going to build this utopia. You follow what I'm saying? So this right here sets the stage. But how far back did this go? Family, this goes way back. See, when we look at Claud Anderson, the first thing that you need to pay attention to, you have to ask yourself, where did he come from? Can anybody, see, when we start listening to people, we should ask ourselves, where did they come from? Where did they come from? If you ask somebody where Tariq Nasheed come from, they would say, oh, he was born in Detroit and then he moved to Alabama. It's very vague. The story is very vague. So anybody who talks about Claud Anderson, where do Claud Anderson come from? Where does his parents come from? Because remember, this is a Native American Native Black American conversation. This is an FBA conversation. And I have the right to ask, okay, since you say we should be called Native Black Americans, where are your parents from? Can anybody tell me where Claud Anderson parents are from? Google it real fast. He's a public figure. He's been a public figure since the 70s. Can anybody tell me where Claud Anderson parents are from? Thank you so much, B Money. Thank you so much. Oh, we could be, wait, give me a minute. Give me a minute, B Money. You think I'm cooking now? Give me 1 second. Can anybody, I'm asking those Morrisville TV citizens, I'm asking the FBAs, I'm asking anybody, where is Claud Anderson parents from? Because if one tell you to rename yourself, I don't like the black stuff. I don't like the all those names that they give us. I don't like that. I mean, ask where his parents from. When someone is listen. Same thing about Tariq. How did Tariq get the name? Tariq Nasheed? And if you can't tell me who you are, why should I let you rename who I am? Whether you agree with it or not, if you cannot tell me emphatically who you are, what type of fool would allow that person to rename and reclassify them? Press 7 if you're on the same page with me real quick. If you're on the same page with me, press 7. You don't know where Tariq Nasheed get the name Tariq Nasheed from. You don't know his name from birth. You don't know if who he show is his mother or his father. But now you would allow this person, an internet personality, to reclassify you. Now you got to be out of your rabbit mind. Same thing with Claud Anderson. Now, if a person is going to teach economics, the first thing you want to know, how economically sound are they? Now, so back in the day, as you can see this headline from 1979, support of Florida black leaders carry a price tag for Carter. Somebody is getting some money. William Darden, with the help of one of Carter's own appointees, Claud Anderson, the chairman of the Coastal Plains Regional Commission, put together a list of administrative jobs they wanted for Florida blacks. Sound like a gatekeeper coming through. Hold up, am I talking too loud? Am I talking too fast? Am I talking too loud? Am I talking too fast? I don't want you to jump to speculation so fast because we got about a whole hour to go. Listen, he was appointed by Carter. He come from the Florida school system and then appointed by Carter. Listen, Darden, with the help of one of Carter's own appointees, Claud Anderson, the chairman of the Coastal Plains Regional Commission, put together a list of administrative jobs they wanted for Florida blacks. Let me drop down real quick. Darden list included such jobs as State Department Chief of Protocol. Claud Anderson was suggested for the job. A small administrative district administrator, some federal marshals, one ambassador. Again, Anderson was suggested. Hold up, wait a minute. Family, listen to what let me blow this up because y'all think it's a game. Let y'all read it for yourself. Family, listen. Darden list included such jobs as State Department Chief of Protocol. Claud Anderson was suggested for the job. Small Business Administration District Administrator, some federal marshals, one ambassador. Again, Anderson was suggested. Family, are you reading what I'm reading? Family, are you reading what I'm reading? Please, don't hold the show up. Say something. How can Anderson be suggested for a federal marshal? If I'm reading it wrong, then may you forgive me. But that's why I got it on the screen. That's why I got it on the screen. Let me read it one more time. Darden list included such jobs as State Department Chief of Protocol. Claud Anderson was suggested for the job. A Small Business Administration District Administrator. Some federal marshals. One ambassador. Again, Claud Anderson was suggested. Appointees to FDIC, the Export-Import Bank, and CAB, head of Urban Mass Transportation, and other administration, various posts in the cabinet agency. Family, for all those that was in the chat last night, I don't want to rain on your parade. I'm telling you that there's a game that's being played on a people. There's a big game. There's a big game that's being played. And the game goes on, whether you understand the game or not. Whether you understand the game or not. So we got in 79, he's working with Carter, and her headline says it carries a big price tag, right? Now, okay, y'all want to give this man all these props. One thing that you have to recognize about people when they talk, they kind of tell on themselves if you pay close attention. When you look at the summary of PowerNomics from Claud Anderson, he used words like they. When people use words like they too much, especially when you're writing and you got time to think, that means they subconsciously disassociate themselves. They disassociate themselves with the people that they're talking about. Now listen to the summary of PowerNomics. The concept of PowerNomics was created by Dr. Claud Anderson and is described in his book, PowerNomics, the National Plan to Empower Black America. The PowerNomics concept and plan teach blacks, listen to it, teach blacks how to pool resources and aspects of power so they can produce, distribute, and consume in a way that creates goods and wealth. Now let me explain something to you. You know that Claud Anderson has dipped and dabbed into kind of like head doctorish stuff, psychology type stuff before. We'll get into that later. But listen to the words. Black Americans made extraordinary contributions to American society despite the astonishing, unusual, and unconscionable treatment they have endured in America. Blacks were the engines that drove the political economic development of the nation for centuries. These are the talking points of the FBA. These are the talking points. GS, is he in economics? We're going to talk about that in a minute, Thurman Smart. I got you, brother. Hold tight. They should, when you see the they, that's a disassociation. That means he doesn't see himself with the people he's talking to. They or we makes more sense. They should therefore value their exceptionality and let the sense of worth guide their group behavior. That's a disassociation. That's a subconscious disassociation. They should require that business, political party, and political candidate who seek or benefit from black support always identify blacks by name, comment, and reciprocity. Deliver tangible, measurable benefits to Black America. This is where Tariq Nasheed gets these talking points from. These are not Tariq Nasheed's talking points. This is why every time he debates somebody or the FBA debates somebody, they don't know the origin of their own talking points. Their talking points is just a meme or a quick late night talk on Twitter or X. They don't understand the origin of their talking points. You feel what I'm saying? They should never allow themselves, disassociation, to be grouped with or equated to a broad and ambiguous classes, such as minorities, immigrants, people of color, diversity, poor people, or similar defining terms. The nation is indebted to blacks and equating. See, this is like a European talking about the situation concerning our people here in America. This would be great if you looked at the person face and it was a European saying this. You say, man, that European on point. You'd be like, that European on point. You see what I'm saying? You would give the European his props on this one because it sounds like a European, educated European on the social status of our people and the problems that we face is writing this. This is exactly what this sounds like. They should never allow themselves to be grouped or equated to a broad and ambiguous class as minorities, immigrants, people of color, diversity, poor people, or similar defining terms. The nation is indebted to blacks and equating them to fabricated classes adds insult to injury, hides their special history, and promotes the myth that all people have been created and treated equally and that all groups have contributed equally to building of the nation. Nothing is further from the truth. The purpose of PowerNomics is to guide native blacks, they're going to term native blacks from their position of powerlessness to one group competitiveness and self-sufficiency. Now, I want you to hear me real good because I got a lot of opinions on this, right? But we're going to move fast with it, though. The whole thing in a nutshell is that these are the core talking points of FBA. Without this, there is no more talking points other than reparations. There is no more talking points. So if they studied Claud Anderson outside of his contradictions, then they would have some serious talking points. But they choose not to do that. However, because I've studied Claud Anderson, these talking points would not suffice in a conversation with myself. But now, let's look at this. 1 second. These are Claud Anderson words. And this sets the tone for where we're going with it. The concept of PowerNomics was created, I already said that part, plan to empower black people. The PowerNomics concept of plan to teach blacks how to pool resources. I want you to remember these words. Pool resources and aspects of power so they can produce, distribute, and consume in a way that creates good wealth. I already read that. I read that. Okay, yeah. I know what I did. I took it from there, from the website, so you knew that, hey, this is not me saying it. This is him. Okay, that's just a backup of I just wanted to prove my point. So, in 2004, Claud Anderson was awarded $112,000 from the city of Detroit. Now, remember last night when someone says they don't mess with politics. They don't mess with politics. Well, Claud Anderson does. Because the city of Detroit gave him $112,000. And you know what it was earmarked for? It was earmarked to develop businesses called African Town. So when one talks about, when Claud Anderson in today's social media post talking about that Native Americans need to not do this with this group and do this with that group, and I'm talking about those other descendants from the African continent, here is the contradiction. Wherever the money flow, it seems that's where some people go. Dr. Claud Anderson recommended ways to increase the number of black-owned businesses in Detroit and included recommendations to create a business district for black business called African Town. Family, are you with me so far? Here is the contradiction here. To push a concept of Native Black American to be divisive against people of African descent, yet take $112,000. You understand what I'm saying? To take $112,000 to create a town called African Town, but then on the flip side, when that project is done, start acting as if you need to isolate yourself from others who have African descent. Family, throw a 7 up in the air, throw a check up in the air, a thumbs up, throw something in the air. But this is what we're up against. It's all a hustle, family. Listen, a person that's hustling, they cannot sell you something that doesn't sound good. Listen, the preacher got to make heaven sound good. So when you hear something like PowerNomics, it has to sound good. It won't work if it doesn't sound good. When you hear FBA, it has to sound good. Or the plot don't work. The scheme don't work when it don't sound good. It has to sound good. It has to be convincing. It has to be believable. But soon as the conditions change, whether it be the money or whether it be most likely it's the money, then the ideal will change every single time. And that's what you get. Now, let me read it to you. In 2004, in fact, I'll put it on the screen. You don't need to see my face. In 2004, Dr. Claud Anderson of PowerNomics Corporation of America was paid $112,000 by the city of Detroit to assist in developing a local economic plan. In the report, Detroit City Council titled The PowerNomics Economic Plan for Detroit's Underserved Majority Population. Now, why is that part so important? Why? Because he wrote a book called PowerNomics. The PowerNomics books is the commercial in order to bait the government in a predominantly melanated government of Detroit to bait them to pay you. But now, there's nothing wrong with that. But when you see the whole presentation tonight, then you will understand what's going on. Then you're going to understand what's going on. You're going to understand the money grab, the constant money grab over and over again. And Detroit, I just left Detroit. We know the economic plight of Detroit. If you don't know, look it up. This was 2004. In 2025, the economic plight is no different than here in Baltimore. But anyway, it says, Detroit, let me read it to you. Detroit underserved majority population, Dr. Claud Anderson recommend ways to increase the number of black-owned businesses in Detroit, and including recommendation to create a business district for black businesses called African Town. Initially, Mayor Kwame Kilpatrick and City Council supported the $30 million project. But once it was revealed that the African Town will only benefit black businesses and investors, it was shut down by the mayor and city council members, Kay Everett and Sheila M. Crackle, calling it racist and reverse discrimination. Now, that's a conversation for another show. However, Claud Anderson still got his $112,000. He still got his $112,000. If you know of Claud Anderson, then you know he didn't hold back on his criticism of eventually scrapping the African Town plan by black Detroiters. Let me tell you something. Look at victory. We're not talking about, listen, let me say something to victory. We over here talking about not uniting with crooks and thieves, no matter where they may be. That's what we're talking about. Anyway, I want you to pay attention to this. What Claud Anderson said. Integration did not help black folks. It further stripped them of resources. We lost our businesses, schools, colleges, heritage, history, culture, and religion, as well as a group identity. We were stripped with nothing to work with and called racist and reverse discrimination when we tried to get back. I want you to pay attention how Claud Anderson used the term integration as it relates to trying to mix, I guess, with Europeans. But in this ideal, this was a thing that was a concept for people, all people of African descent. What changed the tone of a Claud Anderson? What changed it? Family, I told you, when the money changed, the conditions change. I told you that. When the money changed, the conditions change. That's just how it works. Soon as the money change, the conditions will change. And you're going to see that tonight. Listen to what Claud Anderson says. Claud Anderson says, and I want you to see it. He says, I want black people to engage in not searching for rights, but I want them to search for resources. Family, you can't have resources without rights. These are educated people saying the most uneducated things. You can't have resources without rights, because without rights, your resources will not stay with you long. But this is the misinformation and the disinformation that is put out on the airwaves for our people to suck up. And it sounds good to some people who really are not really critically thinking. He says, you have to be critically thinking. I want black people to engage in not searching for rights, I want black people to engage in not searching for rights. I don't know how he meaning this thing. Do he want us to engage in rights and not searching for rights? I don't get what he's saying, because to understand your rights is first you're going to have to search it a little bit. So whatever the case may be, but he said, and this is emphatic, but I want them to search for resources. You cannot protect your resources without rights. There's a major difference, because there is no power in civil rights. No. Ultimate power does not lie in civil rights, but there is power in civil rights. Martin Luther King now proved that. Their concept of integration, one may not agree with, but Martin Luther King and the civil rights movement, they show you that civil rights are important. Anyway, he says there's no power in social integration. That's a lie. That's a lie. I'm not an integrationalist in the strictest term, but one thing that I tell people in the temple all the time, like the shirt I got on right now, I don't market these shirts to sell to Moors. But if I'm at an event, regular everyday people buy my stuff. Regular everyday people. That's called social integration. If I was just to try to sell stuff to Moors, I wouldn't have no way to further the entrepreneurship. So there is benefits in social integration. That doesn't mean that you have to integrate to the point where as though you lose yourself. Because let me tell you, Italian people know how to socially integrate. They'll put a pizza spot in the hood, and then they go back home once they get the resources. You follow what I'm saying? Native Americans grifting African town to black while preaching separation from those same blacks is nasty work. FBA, this is your king. Yeah. Somebody need to take these clips off too. Somebody take these clips and save these clips and make some shorts with these, because this is stuff people ain't used to seeing. You know what I'm saying? What I'm trying to say is that every group of people use intelligent social integration. You know what I mean? They use intelligent social integration. In other words, Chinese people will make a store. They will socially integrate for economic purposes. So when he says there's no power in social integration, that's false. Both of those weakening process. If I pour water into gasoline, it don't make any stronger. It make it weaker. That's why nobody else comes to this country looking to socially integrate. Yes, they do, and looking for civil rights with black people. So that's the bottom line. In fact, he's wrong there too. Our people are so gracious that when people came here looking to socially integrate with us, especially the European Jews, they moved to our neighborhoods back in the 40s. And they had little stores there. They created stores, Finkelstein and Birkenstein and all of that little mom and pop stores. And they was giving our people, they had a plan. They were socially integrating. They got in and then they got out. We as a people don't know how to socially integrate. We always seem to get stuck. Everybody come to our hood. The European Jew came first. The Korean came. They socially integrated. They ate food with us. They cooked out with us. They did a whole bunch of things. Don't get it twisted. And then back in the 80s, the Koreans got a little bit mean. And remember that? Then it was beef between us and the Koreans. But it's a social integration has always been a thing, because all smart people understand that you cannot keep selling the same product to yourself. All intelligent people understand that. You cannot keep on selling the same product to yourself. You need someone outside of your group to patronize that what you have for sale in order to grow. So this guy coming off as an economist, not too sure about that. But whatever the case may be, he got a book called PowerNomics, and people loved it. Loved it. But with that being said, this is the part that we was talking about last night. Dr. Claud Anderson would invest in waterland fisheries. This is the part of the show where I tell you that when you listening to somebody, make sure you do your checks and balances. Because the FBA claim that this guy is the god of economics. He's the founder of the FBA concept. I mean, they give him straight big accolades. They give him major accolades. Let me get my phone right. Make sure my stream don't drop on me. They give him major accolades. But if he have a book called PowerNomics and have all of these speeches and lectures about economics, then let's see how he fare in his business practice where economics is involved. Petitioner Wetland Fisheries Incorporated Chief Executive Officer Dr. Claud Anderson is a well-known author, lecturer, and prominent of redeveloping and industrializing black communities. Dr. Anderson is a former United States Marine. Dr. Anderson served as the state coordinator of education for Governor Reuben Askew administration in Florida. Dr. Anderson also served as Assistant Secretary for the United States Department of Commerce, where he headed the Coastal Plains Regional Commission during the administration of President Jimmy Carter. This is what people use as the claim to fame as him being an economist as it relates to PowerNomics. Dr. Anderson is the founder and majority shareholder of Waterland Fisheries Incorporated, located in Hurlock, Maryland. WFI was purchased in 2007. Listen to this. With roughly $1 million capital invested by Dr. Anderson. By reason of the events described herein below, Dr. Anderson's entire personal investment has been lost. Watch this. Dr. Anderson filed petition under Chapter 7 of United States Bankruptcy Code on June 22nd, 2015. Dr. Anderson is the sole petitioner, and no corporation nor corporate entity are involved as petitioners in this case. Stop right there. There's nothing wrong with filing for bankruptcy. There's nothing wrong with failed businesses. But when you sell yourself as a PowerNomics, economics, when you sell yourself on that, this hits a little bit different. Not only does it hit a little bit different, the caveat to all of this is that he never mentioned it to anybody. He continued to sell his PowerNomics books. Did you hear what I said? Did you hear what I said? That the same thing that I said last night. He continued to sell his PowerNomics books while going through bankruptcy. He never did a lecture to explain the economic issues as it relates to this endeavor. Many people, as Thurman Smart said, repeated, many people was unaware of this part. You're teaching economics and you're in bankruptcy. But hold up. Wait a minute. We just getting started. Wait a minute. And people are cheerleading. So when it says that he invested his money, we need to know what his money actually is. All right. Let's know what his money actually is. Y'all ready? We about to turn up the engines now. Factual background. The DRIFTER is the sole owner and president of Waterland Fisheries Incorporated. Waterland, which is an indoor aquaculture center that produces various types of live fish, on or about June 27th, 2008. Now, y'all got to watch this to the end, because when I get to the end, it's really going to rock your boat. You know what I mean? Listen. On or about June 27, 2008, Harbor Bank executed a commercial loan to Waterland in the amount of $750,000. Hold up. Later, the debtor executed and delivered to Harbor Bank a consolidated amendment promissory note dated July 25th, 2013, in the principal amount of $1,049,000. Let me stop right there, family. Let me stop right there. This shows you that the business was not going too well. Things wasn't going too well. So he came with a promissory note. And the promissory note the promissory note is now 1.49. Huh? 1.49. No, listen, I'm not tearing anyone down. Let people comment stay. I'm showing people stop being played. If I don't show you this, you have the potential to be played. Nobody else going to show you this. Nobody else going to show you this. I'm telling you, FBA, you're being played. And this game starts way before today. Let me finish. I'm not tearing anybody down. This is on the record, for the record. 1.49 M, which was personally guaranteed by the debtor. The indebtedness owed under the note is secured by first priority, duly perfected deed of trust in real property known as. In other words, he put a property up for collateral so he can get more cash flow. Press 7 if you with me, family. We're talking about PowerNomics. We're talking about PowerNomics. We're talking about one who teach. We're not talking about Tahaka Bay that fumbled the ball. We're not talking about Starlight. We're not talking about Abu X. We're not talking about that. We're not talking about regular everyday people. We're talking about one who has sold himself as an economist to empower, quote unquote, black people into economics. We're not talking about a regular everyday Joe. That's not who we're talking about. I want you to understand. We're talking about one who has built a whole legacy off of economic conversations. Here we go. Pursuant to the loan, Waterland was required to obtain insurance coverage for property damage that may occur on the property in which Harbor Bank was named in the mortgage. Now stop there. They got a $750,000 loan and didn't even have insurance on the property in which they purchased. This is economics. This is PowerNomics. I'm going to say it again, family. I'm going to say it again. They got a $750,000 loan to purchase a property for Waterland Fisheries, and they didn't even have insurance on it. They went back to the bank to get some more money, and the bank said, hold up, before you do that, you're going to have to get some insurance. Family, come on now. This is PowerNomics. PowerNomics now. Huh? This is PowerNomics. Pursuant of the loan, Waterland was required to obtain insurance coverage for any property damage that may occur on the property in which Harbor Bank was to be named as mortgage, loss payee, and additional insured. In other words, the bank, Harbor Bank, was saying that, listen, we're going to give you this loan, but this is really our property, and you need to insure this property just in case something goes wrong. We can recover, because in reality, this is our property. It's yours, but it's ours. Waterland experienced several, listen to this. Listen. Waterland, in December, Waterland experienced a severe roof collapse, which led to extensive interior and exterior damage of the property. Soon as they got insurance, what a coinky dink. What a coinky dink. The roof collapsed. Wait a minute. But wait, it gets worse. Wait, it gets worse. See, man, listen. Do anybody remember last night when I said, man, don't make me do a show on Claud Anderson? Remember I said that last night. I said, they was talking about Claud this, Claud that. I said, man, don't make me do a show on Claud Anderson. Y'all remember that? Listen, pay close attention. I hope y'all got y'all pens and paper. Waterland submitted a claim to the insurer, the Selective Insurance Company of America and Selected Way Insurance, who denied the claim. First, the insurer denies the claim. Why would this insurer deny the claim? Because the insurer suspects that there may be something out of order. That's what I'm gathering from reading the case. I'm just pulling out pieces of the case, but this is what I'm gathering from reading the case. It says, Waterland subsequently filed a lawsuit against Selective and United States District Court of Maryland, which was resolved through a settlement in which Selective agreed to pay Waterland $800,000. So now, on top of the $1 million, what up, brother man? On top of the $1 million, they got another $800,000. Are y'all with me, family? Listen to the bag. On top of $1.49 million, now they got another $800,000 from a settlement. Press 7 if you with me. Huh? Are you with me? In June 22, 2015, DEPTA filed voluntary petition under Chapter 7 of the United States Bankruptcy Code. 2 years after that, he files for bankruptcy. We're talking PowerNomics. We're not talking about a regular everyday Joe. See, this is why people get mad at me. They don't want to believe that Santa Claus is not real. They don't want to believe. See, I'm the one to tell you that Santa Claus was not on the roof last night. I'm the one to tell you that Santa Claus was not the one that ate the cookies. I'm the one to tell you that Santa Claus does not exist. He didn't put them toys under the tree, and you mad at me. Don't be mad at me because I'm telling you that the boogeyman is not in the closet nor under the bed. Don't be mad. FBA, don't be mad at me. I'm just telling you that the grift is real. I'm telling you that it's real. Now, but you ain't seen nothing yet. Y'all ain't seen nothing yet. So he files for bankruptcy, right? Now, this is the part. On May 20th, 2016, Harbor Bank filed a letter to the court explaining that the debtor was requested to depose Harbor Bank's corporate designee of 3 officers of Harbor Bank: Joseph Haskin, Carla Neely, and Stanley Arnold. Although Harbor Bank did not object to the depositions of Harbor Bank's corporate designee, Miss Neely and Miss Arnold, Harbor Bank stated that a deposition of Miss Haskin was not appropriate given his lack of involvement in the matter. I'll explain it in a minute. On May 23rd, 2016, the debtor filed a response to Harbor Bank's letter and argued that the plaintiff's refusal to make Mr. Haskins available was unreasonable because Mr. Haskins presided over the restructuring meeting between Harbor Bank and the debtor, at which Mr. Haskins made suggestion concerning the operations Waterland facility was made aware that $500,000. So I cut that off, but let me explain what that is. So what he's trying to do is he's trying to get out of owing Harbor Bank by the way of bankruptcy. So he's asking to do a deposition on the bank facilitators of the loan. So Haskin is saying, why do you have to, and this is what's going on in my case right now. They just throw a lot of stuff around. You feel what I'm saying? And they try to drown out the case with non-essential stuff. So anyway, Mr. Haskin is saying, why do you have to do a deposition with Miss Neely or Mr. Arnold when they really had nothing to do with putting this thing in order? But for the bankruptcy, he's moving on that level to keep it moving. You know what I mean? Keep you spending money. Keep you caught up in the courts. I'm going through that right now. You know what I mean? Keep you caught up in the courts. But with that being said, the court considered the filing. Here we go. The court has considered the pleadings filed by the parties, the oral arguments made by counsel, and testimony given at trial, and the exhibits admitted into evidence. For the following reason, the court determines that the debts owed by defendant to Harbor Bank are non-dischargeable and the defendant's bankruptcy case pursuant to 11 U.S.C. 523. The court further determined that the defendant is entitled to Chapter 7 discharge other than of his debt to Harbor Bank. And if you don't know what that means you got to pay up, buddy. That's what that means. Now, one of the things that you need to know is that it's very unfortunate that people will play these games like this. You know what I'm saying? It's very unfortunate. But at the end of the day, when I break this thing down to you like it's supposed to be, you'll understand why it's really unfortunate. Because at the end of the day, where was that? Okay, it said you got to pay. Yeah, right there. At the end of the day, family, this is why it's so unfortunate. Because the guy whom that he got the loan from and he didn't want to pay back, this is the owner of Harbor Bank. It actually was owned by our people. And it's owned by our people till this day. How do I know? Because I live in Baltimore. This is, hold up. Let me break it down to you, just so you know. This is Mr. Haskins, who owns the bank. That's Mr. Haskins. That's Mr. Haskins who gave him the $750,000 and then gave him another $300,000-$400,000 with a promissory note. Yeah. And then try not to pay him back. Try not to pay him back. The evidence is here. I'm not making this stuff up. It's hard. Some of this stuff is hard to find. And I was thinking today, I need to put this stuff on my website so people can go examine my research, examine Moochie Bear research. When my website up and running, y'all will be able to go and get these links. I'm going to put the links to all of these court records and everything. Y'all will be able to go and get this thing, you know what I mean? Because I don't want any people think that I'm chopping and cutting and that I'm cutting and pasting and you think that I'm making this stuff up, because I'm not. Now, let's keep it moving. On or about June 27th, that's where he got the loan. $750,000 was the first loan. All right. $750,000 was the first loan from the brother from Harbor Bank. Then he got another, hold up, this is another one. Listen. On June 27, 2008, Mark Biddo Company extended a $300,000 loan to Waterland as evidence and secured by, among other things, the following loan documents. So let me explain what that is. He took the loan documents and went and got another loan. Family, press 7 with me. He took the loan documents, according to this, and went and got another loan for another $300,000. Anybody doing the math on these numbers yet? Is anybody doing the math? Is anybody running it up yet? Anybody running the numbers up yet? Are you running the numbers yet? Come on, man. I told y'all, don't make me do nothing on no Claud Anderson. This stuff is all a hustle. Okay. Now, on or about January 16, 2013, the defendant executed the following documents as which the party stipulated to authenticity of admissibility. Demand note dated January 16, 2013, in the principal amount of $510 executed by Waterland to the order of Joan Anderson. Anderson demand note. Harbor Bank, defendant, number A. Now, what this seems to be is Harbor is trying to get their money. However, they finagling, and I'm going to just put it in the most simplest way. When you see Joan Anderson and the principal amount of $510 executed to Waterland to the order of Joan Anderson, do you know who Joan Anderson is with the $510,000? Take a guess. Take a guess. Who is Joan Anderson? Claud Anderson? Joan Anderson? I'll let you figure that out. Let's go to the next slide. I'm going to leave that hanging in the air. Now, on July 26, 2013, Commerce by and through MSBDFA extended $350,000 loan to Waterland. There is another $350,000. Man, you can't tell me nothing. We're talking about PowerNomics now. We're talking about PowerNomics now. Now, let's be clear. Let's be clear. These are also loans outside of Harbor Bank. Huh? Family, when I'm saying I'm talking about PowerNomics, I'm talking about PowerNomics. I'm talking about PowerNomics. Y'all want to talk PowerNomics and tell Claud Anderson, let's talk it. Let's talk it. Listen, FBAs, I'm trying to save you some heartache. You know what I mean? I'm trying to save you some heartache. It's all a hustle. You know what I mean? It's all a hustle. Hold up. Let me keep it rolling. Let me keep it rolling. We already went over that. We already went over this. But this is the brother when he started Harbor Bank. Sometime about. That's the brother. Let me take you back to 1979. Back in 1979, Claud Anderson and his wife owned a radio station with a few others. He would sell that radio station, and the point is not that he would sell the radio station. It's who he sold the radio station to. When you talk about group economics and PowerNomics, and you have a form of a communication, and you sell it to people outside of what you preach, there's a problem. There's a problem. I'm going to read this highlighted part, right? Listen to this. Don't any minority group express any concern about any other minority group. Not with my Chicano friends, or Orleans, or Puerto Ricans, Cuban, all the rest of them, Indians. As a matter of fact, we have an Indian commission here, which I also function with. Stop right there. When FBAs start talking those talking points of putting themselves on an island, and then you got a guy that originated that talk of putting themselves on an island saying that he functioned with an Indian group, they only talk about their people, but you're functioning with an Indian group. They don't even use words like minority group. The only group they talk about, coalitions and collectivisms, are blacks. They use those terms. They always talk about, we are going to do this for minority groups. Indians, Puerto Ricans, and Chicano movements. And blacks have never got that nature to understand the difference, even in that. Now let me say this. To put out these disparaging concepts that we are unable to work with our brothers that's Haitian, our sisters that are Jamaican, from Nigeria, et cetera, but you sit up in there and you're going to tell people you work with an Indian group. You are on some type of Indian group board. Come on, Claude. But hold up. Let's take you back in the day. Let's take you back in the day real quick. Because this is not new. This stuff is not new. Let me take you back in the day. I'm not going to read this whole thing, but I will say this. Claud Anderson been in the game for a long time. He campaigned for Jimmy Carter and makes no bones about his disappointment at failing to become the ambassador to the Bahamas. He was mad that he didn't become the ambassador to the Bahamas. But they put out all this, Native Black Americans need to be about Native Black Americans. You can't have Haitians. You can't have this type. You can't have that type. He makes no bones about his disappointment at failing to become the ambassador to the Bahamas after the Carter's elections. But Anderson hasn't given up, though he may be willing to accept less coveted embassy than one in Nassau. After talking rapidly and fervently about the work of the commission charged in aiding economic development in Florida, there you go with the economics, economic development in Florida, Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina, and Georgia. This is a gatekeeper here. Anderson will smile, lean back in his swivel chair and say, these are the kind of things I'm trying to do while I'm waiting on my ambassadorship. This is a gatekeeper here. Some of the things have obvious ties to his ambition and to his heritage. He's trying, for an example, to set up trade. Let me read it to you, FBAs. He's trying, for example, to set up trade fair in Africa. Let me say it again to you, FBA. That's all up in the video. Talk about Claude this, Claude that, Claude this, Claude that. Remember last night you said that, oh, Tariq didn't create it, Claude Anderson created. And Claude is the one that was blah, 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 blah. Remember y'all was saying all that? He's FBA. He came up with the term native. He came up with the term FBA. And we need to do this for ourselves. And we da-da-da-da-da. That's what they tell you, fool. That's what they tell you. But this is what they do. This is what they do. He's trying, for example, to set up trade fair in Africa built around the southern textile industry. As a corollary, he is trying to become a bridge between blacks at home and abroad. Let me say it again. Here it is. He is trying to become a bridge. There he goes, as a young fella, 40-some years old. He is trying to become a bridge between blacks at home and abroad, in the mode of Andrew Young, who drew him into the Carter campaign. Stop playing with me, man.
Stop playing with me. Stop playing with me on my podcast.
Stop playing with me, man. Don't come with me because listen, this is a government operation. The FBA thing is a government operation. So all I need to do is know how the operation has happened before. Remember, Tariq Nasheed first was champion Pan-African unity with Africa. Do y'all remember that? What was the second step? The second step after that was, no, separate. They different from us. Claud Anderson did it first. Press 7 if you're with me. Press 7 if you're with me. Claud Anderson, Tariq Nasheed is doing the same blueprint. Remember, he was talking about the intercontinental relationships with Africans and in America. Remember that? He was going over there, South Africa. Y'all remember that? It's the same thing. The government only use that which works. The government only use that which works. Why change the blueprint? Just change the face and update it. They use the same thing that work over and over and over and over and over. There's no need to change. So all you got to do, if you study one that's a grifter, if you study one that's a manipulator or infiltrator, all you got to do is find out where they got it from. And this matched perfectly. Nikki Love in the building. This matches perfectly. Now listen, Anderson hasn't been without critics. One newspaper chain, listen to this. Anderson hasn't been without critics. One newspaper chain recently implied that he and the heads of other regional commissions was appointed as political payoffs. Political payoffs. Listen, let me tell you again. Anderson hasn't been without critics. One newspaper chain recently implied that he and the heads of other regional commissions were appointed as political payoffs. Anderson argues that only 2 of 9 regional commissions appointed by President Carter worked in the Carter campaign. He is one of them.
Stop playing with me. Stop playing with me on my podcast.
Family, this stuff been going on way too long. It's too much evidence out there for this not to tell a story. Here's the story. Here's the FBA story is not a new story. It just didn't gain a lot of momentum with Claud Anderson. But it's not a new story. The native black American was supposed to grab legs to be the distraction from the unilateral relationship between Africans home, abroad, Africans in America, Africans on the continent, and spread out throughout the world. The thing is to stop the disunity of a people who have been separated not by choice, but by design and by force. By design. And part of the design is to keep the family separated. That's always been a part of the design. So when one teaches separation from one that has experienced the same oppression that you have experienced, then there is the design. You don't rock with somebody that, listen, you don't rock with somebody that push the scenario that has been pushed by the oppressor. You don't do that. Now, I got one coming on Boyce real soon. Boyce should be up maybe next Tuesday. I got you. You know what I mean? And then the talking points for disunity. Because they come over here and take our jobs. But they never named what jobs that a Mexican took from me. They never named what jobs that a Jamaican took from me. They never named what job that a Haitian took from me. I went and got my car washed one day. It was some brothers from Africa at the car wash spraying down my car and wiping down my wheels and all that. I was like, man, y'all came all the way from Africa to do this? In other words, I don't think I'm going to be able to do that. You can have that job, brother, and be real good at it. I appreciate you. But those are fake talking points. And those talking points become emotional shoestrings on people's little weak hearts. Like, yeah, they are taking my job. Ain't nobody taking your job. What job they taking? I ain't wiping your rims off. I'm sorry. My wife get mad at me now. You know you supposed to clean my car. Man, we gonna run it right up there with what's the name now? That's right. We're gonna run it right up there. We're gonna right up there with what's the name now? Because I'm too busy right now. Shoot, I'm trying to get my coins right so I can fight this case. I mean, I'm too busy. We going right up there with what's the name now? That's right. From Nigeria, that's right. Or we go to the other spot where you got 100 Mexicans run to your car and dry it off with a towel. I don't want to wash it. You're supposed to clean my car. I don't know where you got that from. You got to run through car wash. They got no touch, and then they got people right out there with towels. They wipe that demonstration down. That's the best you're gonna get. I'm tired. I work a lot. I'm tired. And I got to do more shows on Morse World TV for my people that miss the information. If y'all miss the information, man, press a 7, man. Y'all got to inspire me, man. Keep me coming back. Keep it like NA. Keep me coming back. All right, let me finish up with this. Now, one of the things that Claud Anderson was doing before he got with Jimmy Carter is he worked for the school board, right? And this is some of his thoughts back in the day, right? These are some of his thoughts back in the day. You know what I mean? Listen to this. This is what he said. I often prayed that somehow whites would learn to love long before blacks learn how to hate. I hope this straw vote won't be a straw that breaks the proverbial camel's back. Blacks have been bused past white schools since an invention of combustion engine, he said. This campaign here was about trying to get quote unquote black people into white schools in Florida. Remember what he says? Integration never done nothing for us? Well, in 1972, if I'm not mistaken, guess what he was campaigning for? Blacks have been bused past white schools since the invention of the combustion engine. Guess what he was campaigning for? Huh? Family, are y'all quiet now? Huh? Guess what he was campaigning for? The same thing that he says, leave us powerless. Hold up. Let me go. I'm gonna put all these articles on my website when I get my website up and running. Watch. Y'all can see all this stuff in real form. Look at this. Anderson, who taught social psychology, this is what you have to be careful about. He taught social psychology at A&M University before the governor hired him. Why would the governor hire him? Social psychology. Said he was bused past 2 white schools in Winston-Salem, North Carolina as a youth. Would ask Floridians if they favor an amendment to the U.S. Constitution prohibiting busing, but at the same time guaranteeing equal education opportunities to all children. Askew has said he will sign it, but has said he is opposed to amending the Constitution to deal with busing. Such a bill, said Anderson, can only further divide the American society into black and white camps. Let me show it to you again. What is he saying? He was an integrationist, and then he was a separatist. Only when the money changed did he change. PowerNomics. Native black Americans. This, I'm telling you, it's a government operation. It reeks of a government operation. How is a man in his 40 that got his mind made up about integration, and then when he gets into his 60s start talking about separation with no real justification? With no real I can see you can change your opinion, but when you change your opinion and you're a public figure, you owe the public an explanation. See, what most of these grifters bank on, that no one is going to do the research. Family, can you be for real now? I need a 7. I need a 7 in the air. Family, I'm going to ask you a question. What podcaster is going to dig this deep with a bear to turn these stones over so you can see people for who they really is? Ain't nobody doing that. And they banking on no one would look for this stuff. But me and my friendly bear, we gonna find it all. Me and my friendly bear. I'm almost done, family. I'm almost done. Work with me. I know you gotta go work it tomorrow. Work with me. Me and my friendly bear. That's right. Me and Moochie. While he's sitting up in his cave, sitting up there eating on them brown swagger burgers, lunch meat sandwiches. I every chance I get, I'm digging on lunch break. Any chance I get, ain't nobody else doing this. So they banking that no one would dig this stuff up. All of the grifters banking that no one would dig this up. Well, I'm going to build a whole platform on digging it up. And the thing about it is that it's all on the record. Now, let me go here real quick before I get out of here. When Claud Anderson, When Claud Anderson sued for bankruptcy to try not to pay Big Bro back, you know what they do. You know exactly what they do. What do they do, family? They don't stick to the principles in which they made money off the back of quote-unquote black people. They don't stick to them principles. They never do. Do you know what they do, right? Let me show you what they do. Same thing Tariq Nasheed do. Run straight to the people. This is the law firm that tried to stop Harbor Bank from recouping their money, who was hired by yours truly, Mr. Super Black Native Black American FBA. There you have it. Yeah.
We ain't no internet prop. We ain't no internet prop. No, are we social media actors? Let me tell you what I do, fam.
Check 1, 2. Hit that cash app. Hit that thumbs up. Like, subscribe, and share. Come on.
Y'all some internet prophets and you need to stop it before someone catch you on the block and cock it, or catch you at your lecture and rock your knocking. Yeah, I abandoned me cause I'm exposed to your robbing. See, I used to be a robber, I was robbing the thugs and the Asians in the hood selling nasty grub. I was only 17 and I didn't know better. Put them things in their face and said, give me the cheddar. But it really amazed me, the age of 40, that people will use the things that would annoy me to rob our people people like Bibles and Qurans. Take your money and then they gone. You selling plagiarized books and dreams of unity. Blame the European, but look what you do to me. Got me thinking we gon' overcome, but when you cut your camera off, you're really one of them. You gon' have to watch it back for the rest of your life. I know good and well you can't sleep at night. You done robbed everybody from the hood to the burbs with your auction crystals, your books, your herbs. You convinced everybody that it's white supremacy.
Come on.
The fact of the matter is you're the real enemy. You've been lying to the people fat in your pockets.
You ain't nothing but an internet prophet.
You gonna have to watch it back for the rest of your life.
I'ma see y'all Thursday night.
You can't sleep at night.
Thursday night, I'll be back. I'ma take a break. Thursday, I'll be back. They will shake your hand and still grip your fam. Assalamu alaikum.
Praise the Lord in Islam.
And at the same time,
to get in your pocket.
Come on.
White label sunglasses, cups and watches. Make a profit for the enemy they talk about. I can't understand why you ain't been walking out. You ain't noticed since you met them. You
living in life.
On Twitter like the pipe and it just ain't right. Bank account got light and you haven't seen the light. You burn on the stage and ain't change your plight. Incense burning, crystals turning. Think to yourself,
what you really learning?
what you really saw.
You gave him your all.
On a museum club
And internet mall.
selling deodorant and hurry up and buy.
He don't really care if you're broke and you die.
You just acting like you don't care either. This is pure evil. Gonna have to watch your back for the rest of your life. I know good and well you can't sleep at night. You done robbed everybody from the hood to the burbs.
Thank you for joining me, family. I will see you at Thursday night with another powerful demonstration. You ain't nothing but an internet prophet.
You gonna have to watch it back for the rest of your life. I know good and well you can't sleep at night. You done robbed everybody from the hood to the birds with your unction crystals, your books and herbs. You gonna have to watch it back for the rest of
Make
your
sure
life.
y'all
I know
share this.
good and well you can't sleep at night. You done robbed everybody from the hood to the burbs with your unction crystals, your books, your herbs. You convinced everybody
That is white supremacy.
The fact of the
I'm gonna
matter
release
is
the
you're
song
real
soon. I
enemy.
keep
You
saying it. The
lying to
songs are
people
coming
fat in
soon.
your pockets.
You ain't nothing but an internet prophet. Family, thank you for your support. I really respect and need all of your support. So make sure you support any way that you can, whether it be a super chat. Thank you for all the super chats tonight. Thank you for all of the anybody who did a Cash App. Thank you for all of the shares and the thumbs up. Continue to share a thumbs up, and also come on to the comments section after the show is up, because the comments also help the algorithms to touch this show. I really appreciate each and every one of y'all. Thanks for London of being in the house. I really, really appreciate one of y'all, family. This work is not easy work. So at somewhere along the way, y'all make sure you support it. Thanks for my bear, furry friend, Moochie Bear. He never drops the ball. Peace and love, family.
That's right, global African supremacy. That gas, baby. Got to have that gas if you're going to make it move.
Both of my parents, on both sides of the family, we can trace everything back to plantations in Alabama and North Carolina. So my family, 100% foundation of Black Americans. Nobody in my family immigrated.
When you're my dad.
I'm good.
If this was another genre like entertainment news, this shit would have millions and millions of views. This is a masterpiece.
In Springfield,
this man.
They're eating the dogs. The people that came in, they're eating the cats. They're eating.
This is a masterpiece.
In Springfield, they're eating the dogs. The people that came in, they're eating the cats. They're eating.
I'm good.
They're eating the pets. They're eating of the people that live there. And this is what's happening.